Coach, your offense is back on top of the Sun Belt for scoring offenses. It's been competitive all year. You guys got over the hump with that 58-point output. How good did it feel to finally get over 50 points?
Yeah, that definitely felt good. We've been on the cusp a couple times and have played some pretty good offensive games, but just haven't been able to for whatever reason, kind of get over that 50 point mark. So it felt good. I'm just happy for the guys too. It was really cool. In those games sometimes. You get in there and you get to the games where the second half you're playing, a lot of your reserves and the guys that don't always get an opportunity. And I was really proud of those guys for being ready for that moment and being ready for the opportunity coming in. And, we didn't miss a beat in that second half. We had the 60-yard tunnel screen to Drew Donnelly. Lincoln Perry came in there with the 2-0 line, and he had a 70-yard touchdown run. So P.J. Hatter getting in there, running all around. So really proud of those guys for coming in and doing a great job when their number was called.
And we've seen games where there's been way more passing than running, and we've seen other games like ULM where there's way more running than passing. But this last game was really balanced. Do you think that's the successful combo for this team, the identity, if you will, on this offense, more of a balanced attack?
Yeah, I think that's what you would like to be. I think ideally is an offense that can attack a defense both ways. I think when you're able to do that effectively, that's pretty hard to stop. It's hard for a defense to key in on what kind of calls they need to make to be stopping the offense. But I think probably the mark of a good offense really in my mind, and when I think about balance, is being able to win a game either way. Like if we need to throw it 60 times to win a game and throw for 400 yards, we can do that. Or if, like ULM, it's pouring down rain and you got some guys banged up and you need to run the ball 50 times, and to win the game that way. I think having the ability to win the game either way, shows a lot of true balance. So, I think that's been kind of cool to see. I definitely didn't think as an offensive coordinator to ever call a game like I did at Monroe where you run for 300 yards and have less than 100 yards passing, but it was pretty cool and fun in its own way, to win a kind of a gritty game like that.
Speaking of that Monroe game, you inserted Brad Jackson as quarterback, and he's kind of been, I would say, kind of solidified himself as the number 2 quarterback. But what went into the decision of having Kim kind of take over that Monroe game and just kind of, I guess, even against Southern Michigan, kind of implement him in the offense?
Yeah, I think he just brings a little bit different dynamic. I think we're really excited about his future and I think his running ability is something, especially in that Monroe game when it was raining and Jordan was still kind of dealing with his ankle injury from the Lafayette game. So it just kind of gave Brad an opportunity to go in and showcase what he could do and kind of bring his unique skill set to the table. And he did a great job being ready and stepping up for the team. And then continued that last week. The one play we put him in, he had a 10-yard touchdown run, and then when he got in at quarterback, orchestrated 2 touchdown drives, just running our base offense. So I've been really pleased with his development and where he's at for sure.
What made you feel comfortable just having Kim run the offense, especially over these past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think one, he's been here for a while now because he was an early enrollee, and so we got to see him all spring ball. He got those 15 practices, got all the summer training, got to reinstall the offense, and then over the course of the season, he's just done a really great job preparing, and he's shown it in practice, and so he's proven that that he's a guy that we can trust to go out there and run the offense at a high level.
Coach, I believe you're one of 7 teams in the country whose offensive line has had the same 5 starters in every game so far this season. What has that consistency up front allowed you to do offensively?
Yeah, I think that's probably the key to the whole success. I think you look, probably the best offenses in the nation probably have a pretty consistent offensive line and pretty consistent quarterback play. I think when you have those 2 things, and then you add in the explosiveness and the playmakers we have on the edge, I think that's kind of why we've been able to have the success. But those guys being able to be guys that we can count on week in, week out, and you got to give a lot of respect to those guys too, because it's not easy to go through a football season, 11 weeks, 10 weeks, or 10 games into the season, as an offensive lineman, especially when you're running the ball 30, 40, 50 times in a game. So those guys take a beating, and they're a little bit banged up here and there, but they're fighting through, and so I have a lot of pride in those guys, and that's kind of the heartbeat of the offense. I always tell those guys, before every game, they're the ones that are going to set the tone. So we always want to, we have the goal to be the most physical unit on the field at all times, and those guys have done a great job at setting the tone for us, offensively.
On that note, when the game it's a blowout like it was, you're able to unload the bench and you're able to play some of these offensive linemen. And seeing a lot of, we saw Sully get out there, Brock Riker, the true freshman. Well, how nice is it to finally get out there, get some eval of these guys in a real game.
Yeah, I think that's huge for just the future and the development of the program. I mean, for kind of knowing, we see those guys in practice every day. It's all fall camp, so we kind of we knew what we had and we felt good about those guys. But to get them out there, get them under the lights, and see how they compete in a game setting was huge. And like I said earlier, I think those guys went in there and did a great job. So I was incredibly impressed with that group of guys and the way that they were just ready for the opportunity, ready for the moment. I think they did phenomenal.
Looking at this Georgia State defense, just what are you going to be expecting from the Panthers to kind of throw it on, just try to slow this offense down?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're very multiple on defense. They present quite a few different looks, probably coverage wise and box wise. Maybe the most multiple defense that we've seen so far this season. So we're going to have to be great, at the quarterback position about IDing, where people are in coverage and where kind of the soft spots in the zones are. Having to be great up front, IDing, what the different boxes are. So, just the communication and the focus level this week has got to be there, and we've got to be keyed in on kind of the different things that they present. And then I think from a personnel standpoint, I think they're a really talented team. You look at them, you turn on the tape. And there's not very many weaknesses. I think the back end is one of the better secondaries that will have played this year, and they've got some guys up front that really look the part, that play well. So I think we've got a great challenge for us this week, and I know that they'll be prepared, but we got to do a great job these next couple of days getting our guys locked in for everything that they're going to throw at us.
With it being a senior day, I know you spent a lot of time with these players, especially the incarnate word guys. But what is it going to mean, for these seniors to play one last home game here?
Yeah, I think it'll be a big deal for those guys. You look at really a couple of our seniors like Chase Todd, Nash Jones, Joey Hobart. Guys who we've brought in and had these past 2 years that have been really integral in terms of turning this program around and creating that consistency that you guys kind of asked Coach Dex about. And so I think that'll mean a lot for those guys, and I think it means a lot for the other guys in the room to play well and send those guys out the right way, because I think everybody on the offense and everybody on the team respects those guys as leaders and really appreciate what they poured into this place.
Talking about that consistency, like how important is it, just getting that 6 win, just establishing, that consistency of just winning games, like considering how hard it is, like in college football these days, how important is it to continue getting those 6 wins and just being able to play in the postseason?
Yeah, I think it's huge, from a recruiting standpoint, especially, anytime you can qualify for postseason, anytime you can finish with a winning record, you're just able to market yourself in a little bit better way, and you can, you're not selling so much the dream as much anymore of selling like, hey, this is, what the expectation is, and obviously that, we talked about it a lot. Our expectation is to continue to for the standard to keep rising around this place, and so I think as we do that and as we win more games, just the quality of recruit that we can bring in, the level of excitement, just the whole thing, just continues to elevate. So it's really big to be able to create that consistency and just that expectation level around here.
Anything else?
Coach Leftwich, earlier you mentioned about Drew Donnelly. I'd asked Coach Kenny, how happy were you for Connor Fox to find the end zone, and also the other one? Now I forgot. There's 3 of them, but I'll think of another one.
Burgess got his first touchdown as well. Yeah, Torrance. So it was good. It was really good to see. TB, he's played a big role for him. He's been our leading rusher in a couple games, so just kind of unique that he hasn't ended up in the end zone on a couple of those runs. But really happy for him. Really happy for Drew Donnelly. He's been a guy who's battled back, through a lot of adversity. He had the back injury last year towards the end of last season, and has worked his way back. Missed all of the off season. So really happy for him to get in there and be able to.
Lincoln Perry was the other one.
Yeah, Lincoln Perry breaking that long run at the end. That was huge for him. He's kind of bad, I'm sure probably the year didn't go exactly how he wanted to, but he's one of those guys that just keeps showing up and keeps working, and so when those guys get repaid like that and show up in that moment, you're always super excited for him. And then Connor, it definitely wasn't intentional that we had to wait till week 10 for the tight end to score a touchdown. We've had a lot of stuff in the game plan for him. It just hasn't necessarily worked out where we got in the right situation to call those plays. But yeah, it was really cool to see him. Him and Jordan be able to execute that play and get him in the end zone.